guys, what's up? Today we have finally a Magic World deck profile, 72 pillars, but it is not what you think it's going to be. It is not the new grade 2 rushdown build, and it is not the old school 72 pillars build that pretty much mauled everyone in the early formats of Buddyfight. It is my own casual play deck, the fun with Asmodai, and no, it's not all entirely child deck, trust me, it's not. This is probably the best life count in the whole game. Mark it down, guys. It's my life, yo. Living that Buddyfight life. Okay, so our buddy is going to be Let's Play Asmodai. Why do I like using him? He works the same as the buddy I use for Blue Sky Knights, which is when there is another Asmodai card on the field, and he is called, you gain 1 life. And if he's your buddy, you gain 2 life. It's just that. I love that. Gain 2 life just for calling a card is really awesome. Okay, that is our buddy. And our Magic World flag. Yes, I managed to pull out of the one box I got the Tetsuya Magic World flag. I love it. It's freaking awesome. So we're going to start off with the size 3 Champion Wrestler Asmodai with his skill. Backdrop as much as you want. So first off, call cost 2. He is a 9k attack, 1000 defense, but he is 2 critical and has double attack. And when he is called, you get to pitch as many cards as you want and backdrop as much as you want, so it means drop as many cards as you want on your opponent's side of the field. Trust me when I say this can auto kill Seeger. I mean, they had this argument like 12.5 times over. This works perfect against Seeger. It almost is an auto win. I'm pretty sure it's an auto win. And also the art's pretty cool. It's not super tough Asmodai, but it's a pretty cool card. Next up we have Dance Asmodai. Pay 1 gauge and whenever he enters the field, draw a card. 6k, 2 crit, 1000 power. It's just, he has just such a great skill. Basically what this helps with is, so when you use Asmodai's, then you have to pitch cards from your hand. Well, this is a free unit. A lot like Aqua Hulkus back in the old Duel Masters days. It's a body with a draw card, which is so good. That's all it is. It's a free call, basically. Besides the 1 gauge, it's not that bad, because this deck runs a lot of cards to give you a lot of gauge, because you're going to have to pay it for, of course, everyone's favorite, Azeroth. As I get to him, looks like I misplaced these a little bit. So our next size 2, I think our only second size 2, is Great Duke Azeroth. Everyone loves this card. It's freaking amazing. Especially for 72 pillars, a card that can actually hit pretty good and defend. So, 5000 attack, 5k D, and 2 crit, double attack, and soul guard. Call cost is page 3. And you can put up to 2 72 pillars monsters in the soul. And the cast cost for all your Magic World spells are reduced by 1. That is perfect, because that way all your spells are basically free. And the only one that may cost 1 is one of the great spells, but you have to look at it as that means you can save all your gauge for your monsters. And with this being costing 3 gauge, yeah, you're going to need it. All I can say is he's probably, overall, one of my favorite 72 pillars monsters. Probably my favorite. I kind of wanted to get him in SP, but didn't really have it at the time. The reason why I only run 3 of him is because consistency, it's not bad. You're always going to pick him up. And you can always shuffle your graveyard back into your deck. Trust me, you'll see what I mean by later. Then we have the buddy. Let's Play Asmodai. You guys already know his skill. As soon as you call him out, there's another Asmodai on the field. You gain 1 life. 5k attack, 1000 defense. He's a glass cannon, 1 crit. But he can get rid of any card on your opponent's side of the field. And it's not like Great Duke Azeroth is not the one kind of dealing most of the damage here. We run 3 Demon Dr. Brewer. Or Dr. Demon. Demon Doctor, whatever. Come and go skill. When you call him out to the field, you can gain 1 gauge. He has 1000 power, 1 crit, and 3000 power. Bad part is though, when you do use this skill, he's going to have to leave at the end of your opponent's turn. Basically, you just want to put him in the center, and your opponent can attack him or not attack him. Either way, he's going to be gone. He doesn't have a good defense to survive. So he's going to go down next turn. So if they want to, they can wait and just let it get destroyed, or they can swing in. It doesn't matter to you. But he's great. He works really well. Next up we have, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Demon Lord Asmodai, the favorite prodigal card of Magic Worlds. Well, okay, 5k, 1k defense, 1 critical, and dangerous backdrop, the skill everyone loves. Pitch a card from your hand, destroy 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field. Is this just not the best card? I plan on making this like a buddy if I do something like a different type of deck, but because of the life gain, I just like it too much. But this one, it's great, and when the buddy rare comes out, I definitely am going to pick it up. Probably not a playset, because triple rare and SP look fine as it is. I don't really need a buddy playset. Next, we run, if I remember, 1, 2, 3, oh, I thought 3, 4 Zepar. The only reason why I run him is because he hits for 2 critical. And he's like a favorite kind of staple among them. I mean, you could probably run other cards that have 2 crit, but on a second, because he has like the solid basic 2k attack, 3k defense. It's not anything special, but he has 2 critical, and that's the whole point of the deck. If he is going to hit, he's going to hit for 2 crit. The other cards that have all those amazing special effects don't really need it. Next, we run 3 Gunrod Beckstein. The reason why we run this is not for the attacking value, but is because you have to damage your opponent at least once per turn. In order to swing in for game with cards that have such low critical values, this helps because you're dealing something to your opponent every turn, and the other cards they have such low criticals that it's hard to be able to swing in for game or to make that situation happen. So it's best always just damage once per turn. It only costs 1 gauge too, which is fairly simple. And of course, one of the only decks that still really run impact cards. We run 3 Diabolical Hardcore. We run this because, once again, you need to be able to hit hard with damage, and it's hard with low critical cards. Being able to pay 3 gauge and deal 3 damage is like the only way to do it. Of course, you have to have a 72 pillar monster on the field. Not really that hard, especially when you have ways to recycle them. So, like I said, this is either to swing in for game or to deal a good shot to your opponent because you need to get down his life. With small cards, small hits, cheap shots can only do so much. Next, we have 2 Devil's Advantage. Pay 1 gauge and you can gain a 72 pillar monster with the same name from your drop zone. This helps with your Asmodais, especially the ones that don't really cost that much, or you can either, basically it just depends on what you want. Because all the Asmodais are maxed, they're all except for the size 3 one, because you really wouldn't want to get 2 of those out of the drop zone. But this helps for both pitching cards, and if you need an Asmodai to trump something in their opponent's center, just swing it for game. Oh man. Another one of these reasons that this is really good is because sometimes you can hit a huge abundance of spells because the deck is stacked with them. So, I mean, if you have to salvage like the few creatures you do get and you just can't seem to get the rest of it, it is probably your best card to salvage what little bit you had. And everyone's beloved staple. I think I need one more of these, but I know everyone loves this card. Magical Goodbye, the best staple there is. It could be a shield, it could be a play disruptor, it could be everything. Counter for no cost at all. Send one of your opponent's monsters back to their hand as long as they're size 2 or less. That is great. It just stops Dungeon World. It stops so many hardcore assaults. It could even stop Demios from just pretty much trampling your entire field like it's a complete and utter joke. Because Demios will do that. If you get rid of him, there ain't no attacking those 6 times in 1 turn. You'll get your 1 or 2 shots, that's about it. But trust me when I say, this card helps make plays, disrupt plays, and also you can get rid of your opponent's center and swing it for game. That's why I love it. It's kind of a troll card, but it's just so good. You ain't gonna get better than that. And then we got 4 nice one. Pay 1 gauge, draw 2 cards, only play 1 nice one per turn. I have 2 rare versions and the alternate art. The only reason I have the alternate art in here is not because I don't have enough rares, because I ended up getting them just in case. I love that art though. It's just like that moment when someone does something crazy and your friends are all with you and you're like, oh snap, something just went down. Well, that's a nerdy response, but I mean, if I really was going to say something, I'd be like, oh shit son, it just went freaking down. Then we run 3 Solomon's First Volume. Now this card is both a good thing and a bad thing. Basically add a counter speed. So when something happens to you, put top 2 cards of your deck into your gauge. Now, the only reason I run this card is because I need it for the creatures. As soon as I have 1 Azeroth down on the field, I have time to build my gauge. But before that, it's not so easy with Asmodais and everything else to pay gauge to draw cards to use those skills in the Asmodais. So you're going to need this to build the gauge. You need artificial gauge building because just that early game, you're going to need them in order to use and utilize all your skills until you have something you could sit on. Okay. 3 Chillax. I only run 3 because I like Solomon's Shield better, because until I have Azeroth once again out there, don't want to pay that gauge. So, pay 1 gauge. This time when you're dealt damage, you can reduce it to 0 and you can gain 1 life. That's what makes Chillax so great, because there's so much effect damage now in the game. You need to find a way around it, and this is that one that just helps you. Especially when people are able to sacrifice themselves to deal damage, or deal damage through penetrate or something like that, because it's not an attack. I mean, you can block the attack per se, but if it gets through and you don't have a shield in hand, there is your answer for this. And lastly, everyone's love staple, Solomon's Shield. You can stop 1 attack as long as it's not a link attack. Short and simple. Like I said before, this is not the most incredible deck in the world. It is definitely casual friendly. It's good. It can stand up to a lot of decks nowadays, especially rush decks. It does fairly well against black dragons. The only one drawback I have against it is like I said, spell heavy. So I mean, if your opponent has like spell nullifiers, it kind of mauls you a bit, and it is slow to deal damage. So I had a little trouble playing against certain Legend World builds. But assuming that you are you're able to play like back and forth with your opponent, like throw blows with them kind of thing. So get rid of their field. The goal of it is to dispel their field, get rid of their hand, because they just keep playing it to try and rush you or to just try and deal damage to you. And try to use shields kind of as much as possible in this deck, because you're going to end up running low on life about midway through the game, and if someone gets a good hit on you early, they're not going to have much to try to get through you. Just use your spells defensively wise, and then use all your creatures to basically disrupt the field. Swinging in for damage though. The impact card is the major way of dealing damage in this deck. You can do 2 of them in a turn. It is possible, and especially with this deck having the artificial gauge builders, you definitely want to use them. They'll help you deal and hit. I can't even talk today. Guys, help me. So the impact card is all meant just to deal high damage. Your normal units cannot do it. Trust me. They'll take the 1 hits and they'll guard for the 2, so that way it just seems like you did practically nothing. And because there are decks that allow themselves to gain 1 or 2 life back at a turn, it makes it seem like your whole turn was basically meant to do nothing. So, use your small cheap shots, bust their field up, and use the impact card to swing in for game. Effect damage, remember guys, is harder to stop than physical damage. Alrighty guys, that is all the time I have today. I hope you love and have fun with this kind of deck. I do. I mean, I'm not running any competitive Magic World build, but if I did, it'd probably definitely be that new Solomon's Barrier deck. Why? Because I love rush decks. If you've seen most of my deck builds, they are all about literally attacking till there's nothing left on the field. Alrighty guys, that is all that we have today. Hope you enjoyed it and just love that new flag. Alrighty, have a good one guys.